Have you ever looked at a stranger and felt something impossible? Like every cell in your body suddenly woke up and said, "Oh, there you are." Sarah didn't believe in that kind of thing. She liked facts, she liked plans, she liked things that made sense. Until she met Alex. This is a story about the fastest summer on record. It's about building an entire world with someone in 3 months, and then watching it disappear on day 91. But before we begin, I want to say something. If you've ever lost someone you weren't supposed to care about that much yet, someone who left before you were ready, you're not alone. We're telling that story today. Now, let's go back to where it started. The air was thick that July night. Sarah stood by the drinks table at a friend's party, feeling tired, socially exhausted, ready to leave. And then she saw him. Alex. He wasn't the loudest person there. He wasn't trying to impress anyone. But somehow he filled the room. When they started talking, something shifted. They didn't talk about boring things like the weather or their jobs. They talked about the songs that made them cry. About their fear of being ordinary. About the parts of themselves they usually kept hidden. By the time the sun came up, the party was over, everyone had gone home. But Sarah and Alex, they were still there, still talking. The next 3 months were a fever dream. You know that phase, where you can't put your phone down? Where every notification makes your heart jump? Sarah would wake up to a text that said thinking of you. She'd fall asleep to the sound of his breathing on FaceTime. They did everything together, midnight drives to get tacos. Long walks until their feet hurt. One time, Alex drove 2 hours in the pouring rain. Just because Sarah mentioned she was having a bad day and wanted a specific type of chocolate. It was intense. It was overwhelming. It was perfect. But here's the thing, when you're moving that fast, you don't see the cliff coming. Then came September. The air got cooler, and so did they. It started with what Sarah called the work wall. Alex was chasing a big promotion. A role that demanded everything from him. Suddenly, the thinking of you texts became I'm busy texts. Sarah tried to understand. She'd leave little notes in his bag. She'd cook his favorite meals and wait up for him. She wanted to be supportive. But when he finally came home, he wasn't really there. His body was present, but his mind was still at the office. Still answering emails, still somewhere she couldn't reach. And Sarah, she started to feel invisible. You see, when you build something in a weekend, you don't check the foundation. Their foundation wasn't built on stability. It was built on excitement, and excitement doesn't last forever. The arguments started, not about big things, about small ones. Why didn't you text me back? I was working, Sarah. Why are you making this a big deal? The us they had built started feeling like work. The laughter was replaced by silence. They started walking on eggshells. The end didn't come with a fight, it came with a whisper. It was a Tuesday night. They sat in Alex's car. Engine running. This was their place. The place where they'd had their first kiss. The place where they'd shared their biggest dreams. Tonight, it felt like a trap. Sarah looked at him in the glow of the dashboard. He looked like the man she loved, but he felt like a stranger. "We're just tired," she said, her voice breaking, trying to save them. Alex didn't look at her, he just stared at the road ahead. "No, Sarah, I think we just grew apart. Or maybe we just ran out of things to say." They had burned through a lifetime of love in 12 weeks. There was nothing left, no big goodbye. No closure, just the sound of the car door closing. The aftermath of a fast love is a special kind of pain. The next day, Sarah sat on her bed. She scrolled through hundreds of photos. The beach trip, the 2 a.m. kitchen dancing, the blurry selfies where they looked so happy. One by one. Delete. 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 Alex changed his number. He told himself it was for work. But they both knew the truth. It was a wall, a way to make sure she couldn't reach out in a weak moment. Weeks passed, Sarah would see his favorite coffee brand. Or hear a certain song, and for a split second, her thumb would hover over her phone. Then she'd remember. There was no one to call. She hadn't just lost Alex, she'd lost the version of herself she was with him. The version that felt bright, hopeful, alive. She wondered, was it even real? If something can disappear that quickly, did it ever truly exist? Maybe it was real. Or maybe some people are just meant to be seasons in our lives. Not the whole story. Maybe they come in to wake us up. to show us something about ourselves. And then they leave so we can learn to stand on our own. If you're in your quiet fade right now, if you're staring at a phone that won't ring, if you're deleting photos at 3 in the morning, hang in there. The silence gets easier, not right away, but eventually, you'll be okay.